have a little conversation about this whole NFL email situation with the Washington football team because it appears that it is not letting up. We have Adam Schefter, who is the next name that is so happened to pop up on the radar since this stuff broke last Friday with John Gruden and his situation as it snowballed into a resignation. And now we got John Gruden. We got Adam Schefter, and we have a situation where he is basically allowing for the president of the Washington football team, or the Washington Redskins, to basically proofread an entire article that he was doing on the Washington football team. Now, the thing that's really catching on Twitter is the fact that he called him Mr. Editor, which obviously that is somewhat a submissive angle to take as somebody who's supposed to have journalistic integrity. But we know this is a business. So, I mean, what do y'all think about the situation as it's unfolding with him?
I have a huge question. Like, who's leaking these emails? Like, who's responsible for this getting out there? For one, like, I have no idea who the source is of these leaked emails. Like, is it a pissed off employee, or is it the government? Is it the NFL? Because the last thing the NFL want is this shit out there, right? And that's my first question. That's my first point. Second point is there has to be an expectation of privacy in your life, in your activities, like in when you communicate with people. If they were to take our phones and go through our texts, all of us, and they were to show our texts, we'd all be fucking canceled. I don't really care. Easily. Like and that's not just the people here on the panel. I'm talking about all y'all that are watching this too.
Anybody, period.
Anybody.
Don't nobody.
They will find.
You ask somebody if you try to snatch somebody's phone out of their hand. That is akin to like asking, like, come on, man. That's like the one thing you will get shot for that. Somebody will do something to you.
I'd rather give you my
take
wallet.
their phone,
right?
Because it don't matter how much a person puts out the image of purity or self-righteousness to the world. Once you get a hold of their phone, things is going to change.
Right. And people are going to lose jobs. They're going to lose careers over this for joking with their friends. You know, like there might be, some people using language that they joke with their friends but in that context you're not going to be able to tell that it's a joke, or they're just going to hone in on that and be like, oh, this strength trainer you called such and such an F or something like that, or said that, and it's going to get ugly. And I just don't know who's leaking these emails, because the last thing Roger Goodell wants is these emails out there, and it's going to expose some ugly parts of the industry that is football.
Well, if you were kind of like paying attention from the outside, you knew there was a lot of crazy stuff going on with Washington. I mean, just like even all the grumblings that were coming out back then. Just watch it be like Dan Snyder's the one releasing this info, trying to get the heat off him. Just watch that.
Could be.
I could see it happening too. He's the kind of sly dude that would do that.
What you think, Justin?
It's easy to go like full conspiracy theorist. For a second, I thought maybe Urban Meyer, get some heat off me.
Urban got a pass.
Too hot here.
Oh shit!
What he's doing? But we're sitting here, we're chopping it up, talking a certain way. If I'm talking to you, like, it's because we talk that way. So if these guys are communicating in such a way, they're comfortable enough to speak to each other like this, all parties are saying the same type of shit. And that is going to snowball. I mean, if these emails get released, god dang.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to have anybody. I mean, there's some cats really sweating right now. Like, ooh, man, let me clear this history up real quick. Do I got to connect at AT&T or something? I need to delete all this shit.
So for me, and when you think about how did this stuff get public, I mean, honestly, it was gonna be public. I feel like these kind of things are gonna be public because the NFL cannot, on one hand, promote that, hey, we want to be this kind of league. We want to have this kind of image. We want to put these things in the back of our end zone, these things on the back of our helmets. They can't say that and then hide that these things are being said or these things are being, people are acting this way. I mean, nobody's really talking about this, but one of my biggest questions of the Gruden situation that has not been even like approached at this point is who got those pictures of the cheerleaders from the Washington football team? Who got those pictures? How did those pictures become something that exists that's being passed around by executives in the for a National Football League team?
And all this stuff.
We've heard rumblings of things happening in other countries, passports being held for certain reasons.
Escorts in Costa Rica.
Escorts in Coast Bay. That's what I'm talking about. Like, if this is if John Gruden was the first head to roll, he was the easiest head to roll down the aisle. That's the easiest one. So with all these things that are kind of hanging over the head of the Washington football team with 650,000 emails, you telling me those are the worst? Those can't be the worst. I feel like the NFL has to just be trying to figure out how to get some of these out or have them brought to the public sphere without the NFL necessarily being implicated in the shit. What you think, Spikes?
It's an intro. This is the intro of a modern day soap opera. What we're about to see, and when you look at it, bro, it's like it all started with the I call it conduct detrimental, what they used to do to us, inside of the locker room, but it was going on inside of the front office of the Washington football team. And then Jason Wright, he was hired to come on and change the culture. With doing that, you got to go and scrub all through the emails and see who was down for the cause and who was not down for the cause. And obviously, that led to where we are today. But, I think you see John Gruden and yeah, he is the first head to roll. But, bro, best believe it's going to be plenty more, plenty more. When you talk about Pandora's box really was open. And it's somebody asked me about it, bro, and I was like, I'm not even really surprised, though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not surprised from the aspect because for that amount of emails going out over X amount of time.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's going to slip.
But you see how it started out in the beginning? It was one email, and it was just talking about DeMaurice Smith. Then the homophobic language came out, the hatred, the prejudice. Then all of that backed up into it, and now Mark Davis had to make a decision, which he still didn't really make who cares who made a decision? But I just didn't like the fact to see John Gruden up there and at his press conference, he's trying to get in front of it, but then saying he's not going to answer any more questions with it because he's done. Bruh, who are you to get up in front of a press conference after you've done wrong and you're going to tell people I'm not taking any more questions? For me, I was just like, wow, look at the privilege right there. The sense of entitlement. And so that was very disturbing, bro, because somebody asked me about it yesterday, and I was like, I'm not surprised because it's plenty of people that will have these conversations and write emails and then turn around in your face and smile and just to make it more reality, real life. I think the disappointing thing is knowing every day you go inside of that locker room, and when you face the men in that locker room, it's 70+% men of color, black. And you got the audacity to continue that type of behavior and talk. And it wasn't just one time.
Right.
You do it for years. and now you won't sit up here and say you're done talking about it. It don't work that way, bro. And like he's getting what he deserved. I don't feel sorry for him at all.
No, I think nobody does, honestly.
No.
Like, I mean,
Oh yeah.
and now it's because we have proof. Like, you can say that he's an older coach, or you can suspect these type of things until you have that proof. And now we do. It's like, all right, it's time to throw him in the meat grinder and just
Pretty much.
call it a day. It's like he's
Like,
done.
The moment those extra emails came out, it's like he's fucked. Like, there's no way you can go back into that locker room with a guy who publicly came out of the closet that summer while saying, like, you know,
while working for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And you can't. I mean, especially with some of the comments he made about that. I mean, I don't think anybody cares that Carl Nassib's gay. It's just like he's a football player. And the problem is, I feel like they attacked a football player like that, even if he meant it or not. So you can't go back in that locker room. And that's why I think like Mark Davis made him an ultimatum. It's okay. You're either going to resign with a little shred of dignity you've left, or we are going to fire you with cause. Either way, you're not getting your money. Like that $70 million, that's gone. Or like 65 plus or something.
Yeah, he had a 10-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been employed or bought out. Had he not, messed up like that.
So Mark Davis gets to save a little money, and
just to speak a little bit about the whole expectation of privacy thing. See, that's and Spikes and Justin, y'all both know this. Once you in the NFL is a different world. It's not the same world. It's not. It doesn't play by the same rules as the typical world of a regular citizen, right? You have expectations of privacy. In the NFL, if you're anything that uses the NFL, the shield, the lettering, anything that is officially connected to the NFL is literally under sovereign control of the NFL. So there is no expectation of privacy. Like once you are using an NFL email address, whatever it may be, regardless of if it's today or 10 years ago, the NFL will get those emails. They'll get them. They probably have them backed up anyways, and they just went through them. So it's different in that regard. I had an argument with somebody on Twitter about this, where I told them, like, no, see, that's what you don't get. There is no expectation of privacy when you're on their dime, and it's in your contract.
Yeah.
When you sign with them, they say everything that you do that has our logo on it, that's associated with our brand, we have control over. If you get in trouble in your house, in your own private time, because you are signed to us, we can fuck you over, and you don't even have to get charged with nothing. You don't even have. It could be a complaint filed against you. Right. We can suspend you indefinitely if we feel like it. Doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. There is no privacy for you, and that's what we all sign up for.
Yeah, and they know they have this over you too, right? Like the whole time, because they know that you love playing football, and that you don't want to put that at jeopardy for any reason. Like you couldn't talk freely like this when you
can talk freely as long, but there's like if we were signed with our team still right now, we could talk like this, but there's a certain line, there's a certain level of you cannot cross this line of any kind of what would you call it? Going against the not even going against the grain. You can only show so much dissent before you cross a line, and then it's conduct detrimental.
Yeah, so it's like, I think that's with any corporation though, that they're bringing in a lot of money and they're paying you a lot of money. You can't bite the hand that feeds you, right? So you look at it now, even, and I salute and I applaud the guys now, even in today's game. I go back to last year and you see the guys who got together and they made the video, and they pretty much came in with a strong arm towards the league, telling them these are the initiatives that I want you guys to jump on board and follow us. If this league is about, what's the title everybody likes to say? Football is family. well, if his family, this is what we want to see you to turn your initiatives to be able to support us. So, like, I mean, I get it, you know what I mean? And I salute the young men in there today because they are brave and they don't have a problem. I think about Carl Nassib right now. Hell, I ain't never heard of nobody taking a personal day in the NFL.
Hey,
But-
for real.
But he did it
That was
today.
unheard of.
That, like, dude, if you get sick, I don't
still
care
go-
if you got pneumonia. Laylock, what they tell you if you got pneumonia, what do they tell you to do if you're at home?
Hey, come up to the training room.
Come
We'll
on
fix it.
in. Yeah. Come
We'll
on
fix
in.
it.
Ain't no sick days here, motherfucker.
Got you.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that bad kid at school, and you get in trouble when you go home and you think you finna play the PlayStation. Your mama's like, hell no, you gonna sit your ass. If you bad or if you say you sick, you won't be at home and you won't stay sick. That's how they do it. But to that point, like, how if you're John Gruden, how can you stand in front of the team and the first openly gay player comes out before the season? Like, I'm sure he felt some type of way, and he should feel some type of way, because the NFL, the office in New York, they made it clear, guys, we got your back. Last year, before he even came out, they even came out during this month saying, this is coming out day. We want to support any guys in the National Football League who are gay, because we believe diversity and inclusion. And so like, kudos to him, man. Like, I feel him. Hell, man, take another day too. For real.
Like, I've never heard of a personal day ever. I've never heard of like just a rest. Well, for vets, you get like 1 day every 2 days, 1 day every 3 days, where they pick a vet. You ain't practicing that day. But like, to just be like, you know what, I'm good. I'm gonna chill today. I'm a little tight. We never heard of that. But
Yeah, PTO.
the players, like you said, the players, and this is something that I was saying when I was playing. Like, when we got to that 2010 CBA, I was like, we can control these cats. We really can control the owners if we want to. We just got to be willing to, like, sit in. You know what I mean? Like, because I was of the mindset in 2010 that we weren't going to play at least one game throughout the one regular season game for the CBA to get exactly what we wanted, because they're not going to pass up on. They're not going to let their money go down the drain, and they're not going to replace us. That's not possible. Like it was, back in the replacement days in the 80s. They can't do that. So we're gonna. If the players don't realize the kind of power that they actually have, then the owners are going to do whatever they want, and the owners protect the owners. That's all they doing. And even with this, I feel like the Redskins are probably the most protected franchise in the NFL, though. I feel like they're one of the most protected franchises in the NFL, because Dan Snyder, I mean, that cat probably has some dirt on somebody, on some people, because he's fuck you rich, you know what I mean?
And you see with powerful people, it's just like Chris Carter said, you got to have a fall guy. They have fall guys all around them. Someone will take the blame. They could be caught on camera and they'll still get a fall guy, or someone will bear the brunt of that and be like, oh, I can't believe I had an assistant that led me to that massage parlor, and I thought that it was a legitimate massage parlor.
You know what I mean? The owner of the damn Patriots, just all of a sudden they forget that they arrested this cat for purchasing prostitutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're that powerful, you live a life of untouchableness that's not going to affect you unless you're just caught on tape murdering someone. Like, and even then they could call it into question.
If you have enough money, you're fine. You can get away with any goddamn thing you want. Money is the ultimate privilege.
Hey, Gruden was making $10 million a year, so like,
he's not NFL
but that's
owner powerful though.
No, when he's just got enough to buy a nice place in LA.
It's pennies to the owners,
right?
Also, they might have a little back room deal in place. He might have got bought out. We just
they might have bought him out with some black money.
And we just don't know.
With some unaccounted for.
And he was like, "All right, I'll just walk away and I'll."
I'm not gonna just step away for $100 million. I mean, just because I look like shit. Like, I gotta fight this. That's too much money.
What about?
I don't care how I look.
So what y'all think about Adam Schefter? Uche, you brought it up earlier. Mr. Editor, when
Yeah.
he was trying to get his story published, I'm assuming from Bruce Allen. It's a level of when you're a journalist, you got to have a certain level of integrity, right?
Yeah.
So here again, I'm not surprised on that, because I don't know if you guys are, but how in the hell does Adam Schefter be knowing so much anyway before players?
That's what he be knowing it, like he be having like a 24-hour head start on shit.
So I'm just saying, bro, like I can't believe it just happened one time. If you're in the business of reporting like that, you're gonna get information, and in order for you to get information, that means you're going to construct a story however they want you to construct it. So I just wanted to get y'all take on that though, bro.
Schefter has become the guy. Oh, tequila gone. Schefter. Oh, there you go. Tricked us. Schefter has become that guy that is the insider because they trust him, and they put him in position so that they could trust him, and that he's used as a tool by the league. You know, it's kind of like this. It's like, why is the border between Mexico and USA why do drugs freely go back and forth when we know it's happening? Because the money's being made on this side of the border. Okay, that's where the money's going, and it's going into a lot of it. It's the same thing with Schefter, and I know that's a broad reach right there of comparing the drug trade to what Adam Schefter does, but he was put in place to be that tool, to be the arm of the NFL to get the right information out. And it's very rare that it's a two-way street, because they're like, he's like, hey, if you fuck with me with bad information, like, you're the one that's going to look bad, not me. Right. And so I just think that that's commonplace, and that I don't think there's going to be much fallout. I think Schefter will go right back to business doing what he does, because he can brush that off. He can be like, yeah, I want to get my facts straight, you know. And when in real life, he was waiting to see if Bruce Allen was going to scrub his article,
what he wanted in it and what he didn't want in it. And the crazy thing is that what happened with Adam Schefter like a year or two ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Something happened with some NFL players with somehow about how he was reporting something where he looked really bad. I forget what it was, but
I remember there was the
medical reports. I know that.
I remember the thing with Aaron Rodgers at the draft. I remember that. Yeah,
the speculative reporting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Schefter directly, but I mean, there was a major.
Schefter was the first, and then he went on Dan Patrick and didn't really have a source for it, or he didn't want to reveal it.
Right. Yeah. Schefter kind of manipulated the journalism scape to get clicks. And then I forget whether it was Schefter or Rappaport that really violated JPP's HIPAA right when they showed pictures of his hand being blown the fuck up.
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, that's not cool, man. Like, this is a medical issue. I get it that it was a tragic accident, but we don't need that level of access into players' lives.
We don't want to see his mangled hand.
Yeah,
that's Hippocratic Oath issue.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of players who were like, Schefter's always been a snake. He's always been like that guy who tries to manipulate, but he's not doing it because he wants to like elevate anybody. He's doing it because he wants to be the first one to drop a story on somebody. Positive or negative, mostly negative.
Pressure of journalism, man. You got to be the first.
Yeah, first, even if you're not right. So apologize later.
Oh yeah, people remember first.
To get in his position, you're gonna have to do some questionable shit, maybe finesse a couple times to get that level of elevation that he's now got, to have that machine behind him. I mean, hell, you slap a ESPN on my neck, I can get some information from people.
Right. You can text people, people, you can get sources. The thing is, like, people, it's just like the paparazzi too. Like, the paparazzi gets called to those situations when a celebrity is out. They don't just happen upon bullshit. They're called there and known. Adam Schefter is getting text and qualified information from people because they know that he's not going to name them as a source, but they know that it's credible information. So he just does his thing. The thing is, if you're going to play a hoe's game, you're a hoe. That's what Schefter is. he's in the game, and that's how
He's
the
being
journalism-
hoed. He's being
Hey.
pimped by the
Being
owners
hoarded
and by
out.
the GM.
Hey,
Mhm.
he's an expensive hoe.
Oh, you know he's an
He's gonna be a hoe. He's an expensive hoe.
You know he is.